Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessed Mess Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hello. We are reading today from Voices of Recovery. It is on page 349, the excerpt for December 14th. We go to meetings. We make an effort to express our feelings openly, and we act as if the power to change, to abstain from compulsive overeating, is already ours. And that is from For Today, page 8. And here's the reflection. I have always been a person who sees the big picture and plans ahead. At those first few meetings, I couldn't comprehend that my abstinence and recovery were not a lifetime commitment. When stumbling through the beginning of my recovery, I came upon the phase of living and acting as if I am abstinent, as if I have a solid relationship with God, as if I have a sponsor, and as if I am indeed recovering. That simple mental adjustment has helped me immeasurably. I have come from acting as if to actually being abstinent, to having a relationship with God, to living one day at a time, to having a sponsor and now being one, and to actually be recovering. Learning to live in the moment has been a blessing. I no longer fret about what hasn't been done or what has already happened. I've learned to just be. I can acknowledge that for today, I am abstinent and grateful. I'm no longer in the driver's seat. That simple thought could never have happened without OA. A little bit of a longer reflection there. I really want to hone in on this acting as if, because, well, there's two different parts. So when I was new to program and fairly well into it, acting as if always seemed like I get, aren't you just lying to yourself? Aren't you just playing pretend? But I also did hear people talk about how helpful it was to act as if. And I can tell you now, having a little more education under my belt, that is, it's almost like a mental trick for your mind. They call it a simple mental adjustment. And the thing is that it works. So I'll give you a little spiel in case you aren't familiar with this concept that our thoughts create our emotions and our emotions lead to our actions. That's like the cognitive behavioral technique behind cognitive behavioral therapy, and then what I was trained in with cognitive behavioral coaching. So we have a thought, it leads to a feeling, and that causes action. And so there's actually like scientific proof that if you think a certain thought, it changes the chemistry in your body. It does. It's so funny. But that is the power of acting as if. Because if you think the thought, I'm never going to get better, or I can't do this. Like even saying that aloud, I feel my stomach kind of tense, kind of like going on itself. And I want to hunch forward and I just feel yucky. Like I feel a hint of despair. Like I just do. And then if I say, even if it's something small, because if it's something totally opposite and we're just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. It has to be something that like we can believe. It has to be believable. So like, instead of I can't do this, it's like for the next minute, I can do this. I can do this for 60 seconds and then text someone after that I did it for 60 seconds. I don't know about you, but I'm sitting up a little bit straighter and my head is up more. And I'm like, okay, I can do 60 seconds. I can do that. Isn't that funny? It's interesting. And so I just love that they touch on that, this acting as if. So if there's something that you're struggling with today that you just feel like you can't do it, what is that one thing? Like, reach out to me, tell me, post it on the Facebook group. What is that one thing that you're just like, I can't do this? Whether it's texting your sponsor or making a phone call or reporting your food or going to a meeting or listening to a podcast all the way through or just showing up to work. What is that one thing that you feel like you just can't do? And is there a way that you can approach it or that you could just take on a tiny bit of it and be like, well, I could do that. All right. So reach out to me, let me know. And maybe, we can help you guys brainstorm a little bit about what might be a realistic thing that you could tackle that would help you to hold your head up a little higher. Because there's also another, tool about acting as if is if you say you're just like, I can't do it. Say you're saying like, I don't know how to do this. I just don't know. I just don't know how I'm ever going to stay abstinent for the rest of my life. Right? We've all said that, right? We've all been there. And we hear that, the day of the name of this podcast, a day at a time. You don't have to do it forever. You just have to do it for today. Fine. But another helpful kind of way to think about it is if I was abstinent today, what would I choose to eat right now? Or if I had already reached out to my sponsor, what would she tell me to do? What would she suggest? How would she suggest I handle this? Because that sends our brain out on a mission. And chances are you're probably going to think of like whatever they would have said or done or suggested. Because when we kind of flip it around, when we make that simple mental adjustment, and it starts with acting as if sometimes, okay, if I was abstinent, I'd go on a walk right now instead of opening the refrigerator door. Or if I was abstinent, I would just leave that item on the grocery shelf because I don't want it to be talking to me on the way home. And so try it. Even if you're just like the tiniest bit curious or the tiniest bit incredulous, try it a few times today, even right after you're done listening to this. And if you're like, I don't want to do XYZ, be like, okay, well, I could do X. or if I did want to do XYZ, what's the first thing I would do? And see if that helps you show up the way that you actually want to show up when you look at yourself in the big picture. All right. Hang in there. I will talk to you tomorrow. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you're here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.